Hey guys, what is up? Brennan here, aka Brenbo, resolving some problems that are on the TT. As you guys know, it has some boost problems. It'll eventually just cut out, go on the lit mode, I think it's called, and then just die. I'll turn off the car, turn it back on, and everything will be fine. So, there's a lot of things you guys said in the comments, so I'm going to be going over everything you guys said, and then look it over, and then show you guys what people were saying, like what it looks like in the engine, and then just go from there. I'm obviously not going to do any physical work, because I don't know what I'm doing, to be honest with you guys. That's what the shop is for, but I have some things to tell the shop, which I think could be wrong because of you guys. There's only one thing I could really check and look at to see if it's right, and I'll tell you guys later on in the video, but I'm not gonna do that today, maybe another day. You guys mentioned a whole bunch of stuff in the video when I said my Audi TT is broken. You guys commented so much things that I did not even think of that's probably gonna help me a ton. I'm obviously not gonna be able to figure this out myself because I don't know that much about this engine enough to just fix everything. So I'm obviously gonna have it looked at eventually. I've also been doing tons of research on what you guys have been telling me because I've already done some research, but then after you guys told me some certain sensors and things, I've done some research into that, and that could also be the problem. So a lot of things you guys said I didn't even think of. I want to thank you guys for those comments because a lot of you guys were spot on with things that could be wrong. So I have them all saved on my phone, top 5 things because I couldn't remember them. So first thing is the N75 valve. So this is apparently a sensor that is by the mass airflow sensor, and that puts it in the limp mode if it's bad or wrong. Because I don't think anything's wrong with the car. I think it's just a sensor that's bad, or it's a leak. I don't think anything's wrong with the components, because I thought before that the turbo was messed up or something along the lines, but I think it's just a leak or a bad sensor. And this is causing it to go in the limp mode, and when I've done some research into it, it basically limits the turbo or doesn't even use the turbo at all. So the N75 is a sensor, and I did mess around with it a little bit when I changed the turbo inlet pipe, so I could have knocked it around, maybe messed it up, or just when I put this new stuff in, it just messed the whole sensor up. I don't know. It's already a 14-year-old car, so anything could be wrong. The N75 valve is right here. It connects to the turbo inlet hose right by the diverter valve, and it's just this piece right here basically. It's kind of hard to show on camera, and that could be the problem because that goes to the MAF sensor, and it's all controlled because the turbo inlet pipe goes to the turbo obviously. So this all has to do with the turbo. Everything that's wrong, all turbo related, nothing to do with the engine really at all. So the N75 valve, that's a big thing. A lot of people commented that, and by my research, these things go bad very easy, and they're about $80 to change. Super easy. Obviously, it's just one clamp that connects to the turbo inlet hose, and you just undo this cable right here. So it's super easy, kind of cheap, but it's just, if you replace it and it's not wrong, you're $80 in the hole. So I'm not really sure how I'm gonna figure this out. Next on the list is a boost leak. So that could just be anywhere throughout the car. It could be to the radiator, to the turbo. It could be the turbo inlet pipe, because when I put that on, it was really sketchy to get on. You had to stretch it a lot. So I'm thinking down by the turbo, I have to jack up the car to do this, and I'm kind of lazy. But I'm thinking it's an option that it's partially off of the turbo, like it's kind of like crooked on it, because there's only a little spot you can put it on the turbo. I'm thinking maybe it slid off or something like that. And that could be causing a leak, which caused it to go in the limp mode also. So it could just be everywhere. Boost leaks are really hard to find, but they're really tricky sometimes, and I'm not very skilled to do this, but I'm just saying all the considerations. Obviously the shop is probably gonna try all these methods. You might be pretty mad at me for not trying all this stuff out, but I just don't know what I'm doing, and I really don't wanna mess this up. I'd love to be TJ and just try out things by not knowing what you're doing and still be successful, or if you fail, it's okay. But I drive this all the time, and if I somehow mess this up, then I'm just really down in the hole. I don't have anything else really much to drive, and I just don't want to mess it up more than it is, because I am on a budget, as you guys know. I actually do have this hose that keeps popping out. I have no idea what it's to. It did have a clamp on it, and the clamp broke. And I have a clamp for it, but it's just really hard to screw, so I just keep putting it back on, checking it every time I'm done driving it, and then just keep putting it on. Thinking about just gluing it on there just because I don't think I'm gonna take it out really. Comment below if you guys know what this is. I'm gonna show you right now. It's really hard to see probably because it's right under the turbo inlet hose, but it just pops off constantly, and I think it's a vacuum hose. So it's right here, and it goes onto that silver part right there. And this constantly just pops off of this. And it's really deep down in there, so you can't get a screwdriver or anything to tighten the clamp. So I just keep putting this on, and it just keeps popping off. It doesn't seem to affect the car when it's off, at least that I've noticed. It could be affecting limp mode or something like that, but I've driven it with it off just to see, and it doesn't seem to affect anything. So I'm just gonna go put that on again and just keep going and see what's going on. Next, something people are really saying is the mass airflow sensor or the MAF sensor. A lot of people are saying it could be bad or it could be dirty because apparently these things get really dirty. And all you really have to do is take it off and soak it in some kind of oiler, I think. I didn't really look into it because I didn't really think about doing it. I was just gonna replace the MAP sensor, way easier, and then you know it's brand new. But for you guys that don't know, it's right here, connects to the cold air intake basically, or your intake, whatever you want to call it. And I did remove this when I put on the turbo inlet hose and the cold air intake, so I could have even damaged it. Maybe it's a possibility. But I'm thinking it's as bad or very dirty. And that's a very, very important sensor because it realizes how much air is coming in and it controls the fuel by the air that's coming in. So it manages the fuel by the air. So it's very important because if it's reading bad air measurements, then it's not putting enough fuel in and it can really mess things up. So that's why it's a very important sensor. And if it's dirty or bad, that could be a major problem to the car. I was very careful when removing it and paid really good attention not to get it dirty because it is such an important sensor. But who knows what happened with the person who had this car before me. The sensor is already a little beat up. Looked like someone jammed a screwdriver inside and could have possibly messed it up a little bit, and it didn't get bad till now. But I'm thinking the person who had it before messed it up a little bit just by how beat up looking it looks, and they possibly could have got it real dirty too if they had it unplugged for a while. Who knows? Also in this black section, it's like a honeydew screen effect, and this honeydew screen could be clogged. That's another thing, and it could be messing up the mass airflow readings. So I didn't really look into it when I changed all this stuff. I just left it here, but I could possibly look into it, see if it's clogged, and it could be affecting things. It's kind of like a clogged catalytic converter. It really messes things up and gives bad reading. And just a quick other thing is people saying the diverter valve could be sticking. But the thing is, why I don't think it's that is because when I turn off the car and turn it right back on, it works just fine. And if the diverter valve was sticking, it would stay sticked even when I turn the car back on. Sorry, I'm not very good at talking today. I can't talk for some reason. But if I turn the key back on, the diverter valve would still be sticked and it would still have the problem. Or with me, if I turn the key off, turn it back on, I can hit the gas right away and it'll work. Or the diverter valve wouldn't be a problem. And this diverter valve is about 5 months old, so it's kind of basically brand new. Like I said, right there's a diverter valve. It's an APR R1 diverter valve. I got it basically the same time I got the turbo inlet pipe, and it's been working pretty fine. People say it has been failing on them a lot, but it seems to be fine, and I don't think that's gonna be the problem. But there you go, talking about what could be possibly wrong with my car, why it's going into limp mode, and you guys were a huge help, so I wanna thank you guys a lot for helping me out. This video was just me explaining my thoughts and what I'm gonna possibly look into and tell the shop to look at. I didn't do any physical work, obviously, but the only thing I could do if I was going to was jack up the car and see if the turbo inlet hose is half on the turbo or not. And that's really all I could do. I can't really check if it's a mass airflow sensor. There's no really way of testing that out unless I bought a new one or cleaned it and then retried it, which I'm not gonna buy new ones. I don't wanna waste money until I know for sure which part it is, because like I said, limited budget. But I wanna thank you guys for watching this video, coming with me, explaining the car, because a lot of people have been wondering, did I fix it yet? Because I haven't really been talking about it at all. But yeah, I've been basically driving it like it is right now. It doesn't really act up unless I go hard on it like a lot. But if I go hard on it every once in a while, nothing will happen and it's perfectly fine. So subscribe if you haven't already to see new videos on the Audi TT, Lamborghini Gallardo, Charger RT, and Project Jeep. I'll see you guys in the next video. Leave a like if you're excited to see me fix this and go into bigger things like the KO4 and more upgrades for the TT. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.